I want to talk to you a little bit about Neighbor Impact, what it is that we do and why we do it and how we do it. And I want to refer your attention to a couple of pieces of paper on the table. You have this brightly colored one, and you have this one labeled our mission, our vision, and on the back, our core values. So pull those out for just a second. So let's start with the mission statement. We changed our mission statement last year, or in the beginning of 2014. We had a longer, hard to remember mission statement before. We changed it to something very short, very simple. Neighbor Impact supports people and strengthens communities. We believe that a community is nothing more than a compilation of all the people that live in it, and we're only as strong as the weakest members. So we support our community through the work we do by strengthening people. And we make communities better through that work, and you're all an important part of doing that. Our vision, we've laid out there some thoughts about what we want to be. Looks like maybe that got cut off a little bit. But that's some idea of where we want to be 10 years from now. And on the back, our core values. I want you to read with me in unison off this page the values. Not the description of the values, but just that first word there that's in bigger type. Let's start with the first value. It's, say it together, respect. The second one is compassion. Preferred partner. Just say them with me as I go along. High accountability and transparency. Excellence and best practice. Integrity, leadership, oriented toward change, responsive, entrepreneurial, and flexible, technologically proficient, and good stewards. Can any of you sign on to those values? If you can't sign on to those values, you're probably in the wrong place. But this is what our agency believes in. It's what we're striving for as we try and be the best nonprofit out there. Many of you know that we were named this year again for the third year in a row to be one of the 100 best nonprofits to work for in the state of Oregon, and it's because we adhere to values like this. This year, congratulations. If you look at the colored sheet, turn your attention there. This is a new document we're using for community education. This came about because there's this new academic concept called theory of change. The state of Oregon has been working on it. They joined in with the state of Washington. They joined in with the state of Idaho. They joined in approximately a year ago, and they're still working on it. Neighbor Impact sat down in an afternoon and said, we think we could put that together. That kind of defines what we do, and we drew it up, and then we took it to the management team, and then they didn't like it, and we took it back to the management team 2 or 3 times. And then we took it to the board of directors and we signed off on it. And this talks about our work. The top of this talks about how we support people. We serve and we partner. We serve people directly. You all are involved in that. And we partner with other agencies in serving people. We're trying to move them beyond their crisis to stability in their lives. We look at 2 different audiences. If you follow that down arrow, we're trying to move people to long-term security. We recognize that not everybody is capable of exiting poverty. Some people have situations in life. They're disabled. They have they're too old. They've outlived their resources. They have lots of issues in front of them, and they're not going to necessarily be able to move much beyond poverty, but they don't have to be poor and they don't have to suffer. So that box is about that. Over on the right-hand side, if you move to the right, we help people exit poverty. We make them resilient. We make them employable. We make sure they have the resources that they need to succeed. We encourage people to move along the economic continuum. A little bit of movement is okay. What's not okay is staying where you're at or just sliding backwards. Everybody has the potential to move unless they're in that bottom box right there. So we're trying to move those people. But we know that nobody does it alone, and that moves us down into the purple box. So we're strengthening our communities by advising and advocating others in our community about the creation of systems which are essential for people so that people can get those skills that allow them to become resilient, employable, resource adequate, or achieve long-term security. In a nutshell, with some pretty pictures, that's what we do every day. That's what our work is when we come to work every morning. So, put that up over your desk, think about it, reflect on it. It shows you the totality. We often think of ourselves in this agency as I'm in Energy, I'm in Home Source, I'm in Head Start. I'm in one of those siloed organizations. You're not in one of those siloed organizations. You happen to work as a part of a unit of a much larger organization where all of those services are working together. And our main goal is to try and impact people. That's who we are. We are Neighbor Impact. We impact our neighbors. How have we done that in the last year? Let's review things. You've got an annual report in front of you. If you have not read that, take some time with it. Jason put that together, did a wonderful job of it. There are some heart-wrenching stories in there, make you feel good if you're ever feeling down about some of the work we're doing. We served 1 in 4 Central Oregonians again last year, about 55,000 people a year. But I want you to think about that. That's 1 in 4 people in a single year. Now, we know from research that only about 11% of people actually need services more than 5 years in a row. 89% of people exit from needing services long term and go on to self-sufficiency. So if you look across Central Oregon and you look at anybody who's been here more than 5 years, chances are they might have encountered us. There's more than 1 in 4 Central Oregonians running around out there who at some point have come across us, and you may have heard their stories. Every time I take out my notebook with my Neighbor Impact logo on the top of it and I sit down at a restaurant to eat, or I have my Neighbor Threads on and somebody sees me, they have a story they want to tell me. They want to talk to me about what Neighbor Impact did or how Neighbor Impact touched them. Sometimes they don't even know Neighbor Impact touched them. Sometimes they got their help from St. Vincent de Paul, and they don't connect St. Vincent de Paul to Neighbor Impact, but we were still there in the background. People know about us. And people have a pretty good feeling about us because of what you do every day. I'm so proud of some of our programs. Our food bank receives more locally sourced product as a percentage of its total intake than any other food bank in Oregon. Our community supports our people. We don't get it from faraway places, we get it locally. We get some stuff from over the other side of the mountains too, but we take in an awful lot of product thanks to the good work of our staff who are collecting it and running around in those little trucks you see, including our brand new one that we got this year, to pick it up and bring it back into the office. We go out there and we glean the market with our corporate partners and we keep people fed. About 10% of Central Oregon's population receives services through one of our partner agencies every single month. Stop and think about that. Every single month, 10% are receiving some sort of food assistance through one of the food partners. Our Child Care Resources Program, that's a program that has just taken off this year. That's a program that is just headed for the top, and with the reauthorization of the Child Care Development Block Grant, that's a program that's going to be even better in the coming year. Last year we were the pilot site for the state in trying to do the rating system, trying to get our child care providers to learn a little bit more about how to do quality preschool education, improve kindergarten readiness, all those sorts of things. 2/3 of the ratings that have been done in the state so far have come through our program. Our program is kicking behind out there. And it's because we have good people really dedicated to that work who really know what they're doing. We have professionals on top of it. We can show other people how to do that work. I got a call the other day from somebody who said, well, another community action partnership, and they want to talk about our housing program. And I said, okay, so you really need to talk to Mary because I'm the executive director, I don't know anything. But I said, why are you calling us? And they said, because HUD told us you know how it's done. Well, that makes sense because HUD doesn't know how to do it. But HUD tells other people when they need to know how to run a program to call Neighbor Impact because we seem to have this figured out. I was at a meeting the other day of the Community Action Partnership of Oregon, and somebody was talking about having gone to Washington where the CAPs are a little bit better funded up there. And somebody was scoffing and they said, really? Who has a community engagement officer? And I went, because we do. We're the only one in the state that actually has one, it turns out. This year, we are serving about 1 in 5 of the 3- and 4-year-olds in Crook and Deschutes counties with our Head Start program. We're making a difference. Now the president came out on Wednesday and announced that I think the number was only 1 in 4 children have access to preschool. I think that was the number he used. And we're managing to help our kids be sure that they get that head start on what's going on in the classroom. And when all of Oregon is focused on being sure that kids have that opportunity to be preschool ready, Head Start's way ahead of the game. You're all doing that. We know you're doing that because we tested them. We tested them last year. 92% of our kids were kindergarten ready. That's amazing. The school districts don't get anywhere near that.
No, they don't.
Good job. Anybody here gone down to a school district and had a school lunch lately?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. I have done that with my kids. Not my favorite experience. I have also been in a Head Start classroom and had a school lunch. And I watched little kids dig in. Now, I didn't know pears with mayonnaise was a good thing, but according to the little person I talked to, they were. Whatever. Our kids really like those lunches. We are under the same rules as the school districts. We have to follow the same USDA guidelines, and yet we managed to crank out 116,000 meals a year, and our kids eat them. There's none of this 75% of your food is wasted. And that's because we have 4 people in that kitchen who work their tails off making it work. Anybody read a newspaper lately and seen that we have a problem in Central Oregon with homelessness? We have way too many homeless families. But let me tell you something. There are 125 families out there who are living in housing today because we moved them into some sort of housing directly from homelessness. We have you clap, that's okay, get excited. You did this. We have a unique partnership with DHS. We're the only CAP in the state that's doing this. We're trying to do reunification through housing of families who have either lost their children due to lack of housing or can't get their kids back because they don't have housing or are at imminent risk of losing their children. It's called our SPURF program. We got to find a better acronym than that. But that program managed to help 82 children last year and either took them out of the foster care system or kept them out of the foster care system. That's pretty amazing. Now take those kids and figure that the cost of a kid in foster care is about $22,000 a year. Do the math. That's pretty impressive on our part. Our Home Source program, which runs our match savings program, our individual development accounts, graduates a higher percentage of people from the program, graduates, not enrolls, but graduates, a higher percentage than any other community action program in the state of Oregon. And the state of Oregon leads the nation in the number of people that it runs through that program. There are 211 Central Oregonians out there right now who are still in their homes or who have reached some sort of satisfactory resolution to their situation due to our foreclosure mediation program. $211 families who would be out on the streets or would be in a bad financial situation had our counselors not stepped in, brought the banks to the table, and made a new arrangement for them. There are over 13,000 Central Oregonians who received some sort of energy assistance from us last year. That's 1 in 14 Central Oregonians who's warm today, or was warm at least part of the year, as a result of our energy assistance program. That's amazing, processing numbers like that. I happened to be at a NeighborWorks meeting in, I don't remember where we were, somewhere in the country. My 35 NeighborWorks peers from the Pacific District were all gathered up, and we were talking about fundraising and development. And I was with the director. I happened to be sitting next to the director from the Oakland program. Oakland, California. It's across the bay from San Francisco, for those of you who are geographically challenged. And they said, they were bragging about the fact that they had topped 50,000 last year in their fundraising. Our number in Central Oregon, this is not Oakland, this is Central Oregon, was 811,000. I've suggested they could learn a thing or two from us. If you liked our annual report, that's just one of the things that Jason Carr and the communications department is producing. And then let's talk about our facilities and our IT. Anybody, those 5-year, 10-year, 15-year employees, do you remember the bad old days of the heating system in Redmond? No more. We have a nice new heating system to keep us warm. We have a long-term lease on our Bend office, and we have new construction going on in Bend. We're working on trying to make some improvements out in the Head Start offices. We have an IT system which is the envy of every other organization in the state, and we are like 100%, almost 100% in the cloud. And we have Michael. That's basically it in a nutshell. I mean, we deserve a hand because we are good. We are really good as an agency. But we're not good because of what management does. We're good because of what you do. Because without you, this stuff doesn't happen out there. It's your hands on the tiller that make this stuff go forward. So, I want to turn our attention, even though we're pretty proud of what we did in 2014, to what we're going to do next in 2015. Because in my mind, it's not good enough to just be good. We need to be great. That's my goal in 2015. I think we can still be better than what we are. What I want, what the board wants, what management team wants, it isn't going to matter because ultimately it's what you want that's going to drive how much better we can get. You're the people who interact with the clients, and you gently urge them and you guide them to think not only for the immediate term, but how are they going to get on a path to a better future. You get to have those conversations one-on-one with them, and you can do that by exemplifying the values that I showed you earlier. You're the people who are going to treat clients not only with respect, but who are going to try and put yourself in their shoes as you talk to them and think about what it must feel like to be there. Who demonstrate and model competence and make that client think as they're leaving, I don't know where my path ends, but I want to be just like that person that I just talked to from NeighborImpact at the end of my journey. You're the people who pull into the parking lot every morning and decide to say to yourself, this is a pretty good place to work, or how can I make this an even better place to work? You've got the data and the tools in front of you, the mission, vision, values, the picture, all that, to make a difference in Central Oregon, to truly impact your neighbors. I invite you to do that in 2015.